Hi everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying and to your post-Rally Italia Sardegna review. And what an exciting weekend it was. We have to start with the man who came out on top, Sebastien Ogier, who is in record-breaking form, which is impressive stuff considering he has kind of retired, at least semi-retired. So he won Sardinia for the 5th time, making him the most successful driver on the island, and that is just a short time after he broke the record for the most wins at Rally Portugal. So he is showing that he remains a strong force in the world of rallying. It was not a flawless performance from Ogier, especially on the power stage where he made a bit of a boo-boo, got stuck in some ruts and went a little bit off the road and nudged a tree, but he managed to reverse out of that and get going again. That could have been a rally-ending moment if he hadn't had a little bit of good fortune on his side. But it was another classic Ogier performance otherwise, wasn't it? He was right there when it counted. He was in amongst it with Thierry Neuville and Adrien Fourmeau and keeping pace with everyone in the lead battle, and when his rivals faltered, he was there. He was there to do the job, as he always is. I feel like I'm doing a bit of a disservice there because he definitely had the speed. As I said, he was right in the mix for the win, and it was just typical, wasn't it? His rally craft is among the very best in the world, and he was right there, did a job, was at the front when it counted, and then managed the event perfectly. And he may only be part-time, but he is second in the championship. I think he's 19 points behind Elfyn Evans, and obviously that is going to get people talking about whether he will go for title number 9. I don't think he will personally, but there is no doubt that he still has the goods, and he is not the only one, because it was a very, very strong weekend for Toyota generally. I said after Rally Portugal that the next few events were going to be critical for Elfyn Evans, and I think Sardinia was a case in point. This could have been a really, really difficult one for him. Once again, the pace just wasn't there, was it? You know, he was on road sweeping duties and the speed was very much not there. He had a puncture on stage 11, I think it was, which didn't help. But there just wasn't the speed, was there? I think he had a couple of 4th fastest times, which was about the best of it, really. So there is still a concern in terms of pace on these road sweeping events, but at least there was some resilience, and in terms of rally craft, he put together a decent result in the end. So while others faltered, he kept plugging away, ended up in 4th place. I think he got an extra 3 points across Super Sunday and the power stage, which means that his title deficit, his title advantage, to Kalle Rovanperä remains at 20 points. Speaking of Rovanperä, it was a decent performance, I think slightly better than Elfyn Evans, apart from on the power stage where he was sensational. Oh my God, what a time. He was 8.1 seconds quicker than Thierry Neuville on the power stage, which is just, it was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing to watch. No one was anywhere near Rovanperä on that stage, and that was good enough to rocket him to the top of the Super Sunday standings as well, which did no harm to his championship ambitions. He wasn't actually at the sharp end across the weekend. Generally, like Elfyn Evans, he was struggling with the road sweeping, but he did do a little bit better in that respect. And, you know, this all sets things up, doesn't it, for the championship? You know, he's eating away at Elfyn's lead. We've got another 5 gravel rallies to come, so I think the championship battle is definitely hotting up, and he seems to be getting into the groove with the tyres and with the whole full-time competition being back on his agenda again, so that is very good. In the other two Toyotas, a quick mention of those. So Takamoto Katsuta had a tricky one. He had a puncture and a low-speed roll on a hairpin, which kind of blunted his weekend a little bit. Samuel Payari also had a puncture. I think he ended up 7th, so not quite as good for those two, but generally a good weekend for Toyota as they continue their winning streak. For Hyundai, it was very much a mixed weekend. It's been a really up and down year for Hyundai so far, hasn't it? They haven't won a rally, but I think it's fair to say that this weekend the i20 definitely had the speed. So in that respect, I think they have to be happy with a step forward. Sadly, for some of their drivers, it was not all that helpful when it came to the end result. So Adrian Formeau looked to be showing a decent turn of speed on Friday. He was leading the rally in the early stages before a puncture knocked him down the order, and then on Saturday it just went completely wrong. So wrong, lots and lots of moments, and then a roll finally put pay to that with a wheel removed from his car, so that was the end for him. Thierry Neuville was another one who was in amongst it for victory. He was leading before he broke his rear suspension going over a crest, and that has put a big dent in his championship hopes. I think it might be getting to the point where he is looking to be out of that battle. Ott Tänak though, let's move on to Ott Tänak, because he was the shining light for the Hyundai team over the weekend. He finished second, set 6 fastest stage times. I had him down to win the rally, and he didn't do that. He didn't prove my prediction correct, unfortunately, but he went very well indeed. He was right there, ready to take advantage when it almost went wrong for Ogier, and I think he is definitely the pick of the Hyundai lineup right now. He's just back, I think, isn't he? I know he never is this thing, isn't there? He never went away. I've seen other rally commentators saying, and I get it. But I think it's been a very difficult few years for Tänak, hasn't it? And to me, it feels like he is in pretty good form right now. I think there are maybe some limitations with the car when Toyota are so strong, but I think Tänak is looking pretty good, and he is the highlight of the Hyundai. I can't speak in this video, can I? He is the highlight of the Hyundai team right now. Sadly, while Hyundai did have some highlights and Toyota had quite a few highlights, I think the weekend can only be described as an unmitigated disaster where M Sport are concerned. Oh my goodness, what a terrible rally and a terrible stage. So on SS2, everything at M Sport fell to pieces. So Gregoire Munster and Josh McAleen both broke their rear suspension with impact. Gregoire Munster did get out of the stage but retired on the road section. Meanwhile, Martin Sesks, who was making another appearance in his part-time program, it went much more wrong for him. So he had a 5th gear roll on that very same stage, and that put him out of the event instantly. The other two did get going on Saturday, but Sesks did not, and there is now a race for M Sport to fix that car ready for the Acropolis in a couple of weeks. Race seems like a bit of an unfortunate word to use for M Sport in connection with this weekend though, because to be honest, they were nowhere. They were just nowhere. Yes, Friday was a disaster. All of the cars went out apart from Serdaridis, who I think had his own little roll at some point over the weekend, but there wasn't really any speed to speak of. I was looking through the times, and I think 6th fastest was the best that anyone could manage out of McAleen and Munster, so it was really not a good weekend. Obviously, they would have been running at the front after super rallying on Friday, but that is not a good result for the team at all, is it? And they will be looking to forget that one very quickly indeed. Just before I wrap things up, I have a couple of extra things I want to mention. The first is the Maximum Attack Rallying merch store. Go and have a look on there if you have not done before. Do a buy, it would be very helpful for me indeed. You could get a lovely t-shirt or hat or something else. Have a look on there. But the other thing I want to talk to you about is WRC2. Quick mention of that. It was won by Italian Roberto Dapra, his first WRC2 victory. Nice to see an Italian name at the top of the timesheets there. He was ahead of Kajtan Kajtanovic and Martin Prokop, who was in 3rd. Names that you don't always see at the top of the WRC2 standings these days. That was because everyone else who was leading had a bit of a mare. So Johan Russell, he was leading the category, but he was delayed by a puncture, as was Laurie Una later in the weekend. Emil Lindholm, I think I might have tipped. Did I tip for an outside victory? I can't remember. He was leading the category at one stage, but he put his Skoda off the road, and that ended his hopes of victory. So all of the usual suspects suffered a bit. A quick mention to Pierre-Louis Loubet. He was supposed to be there, but he was involved in an accident during a recce, and he was forced to withdraw from the rally before the start as his co-driver was injured. So not a great weekend for him on his second WRC2 outing of the year. So that was the WRC2 result. It is worth mentioning, however, that in the Rally 2 category more widely, it was not the WRC2 winners that came out on top. So Oliver Solberg and Nikolai Gryazin were the fastest Rally 2 cars on the island over the weekend and beat the WRC2 winners. Good news for them in terms of demonstrating their pace, but obviously a bit of a shame to come out on top but not take the points because they weren't registered. So that was WRC2 and Rally 2. Let us finish this video by me asking you to let me know what you thought. As I said at the top, my predictions were wrong. I tipped Tanak for the win. I can't remember who I had in the top 3 now. It might have been Ogier and perhaps Neuville. I don't remember. But I was wrong. Anyway, were your predictions right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if there are any other moments that you think are worth mentioning, as always, like and subscribe and follow me on socials. And I will see you again next time.